Welcome to the Handyman Pros Radio Show. Home improvement and maintenance tips from the pros.
Welcome to the Handyman Pros Radio Show Action Edition, where we feature an actionable tip that you can use today. And I'm here with my old buddy Larry. Larry, what have you been up to?
So we had a gonzo rainstorm the other day. I mean, like, you know, one of these, I don't want to say once in 100 years, but the once-a-year big rainstorm, like 5 inches.
Well, at your age, you remember the last two of those.
Thanks. Love you a long time. And you're not one to talk there, young man. Anyway, but at least I don't remember when Noah came. Ooh, how's that one? Anyway.
Ark.
Jesus God. This is degrading. So let me get on with my story. So anyway, we had this big rainstorm, and I actually noticed that the water was in my ditches out in front of my house. The water had actually stopped up in one of the drainage ditches, and it was flowing over my driveway. I was not a happy camper, by the way, because this was a lot of water. So I was like, I was kind of sitting there going, well, whose responsibility is it to do this thing? So my wife, in her eminent wisdom, because she's actually a very brilliant woman, and she decided to call our local county roads and bridges department. Well, actually, she asked me if I were calling the county, who would I call? And I had a vending account, and one of the things was the roads and bridges department was part of my vending in the beautiful Forsyth County administration department. So I knew that roads and bridges had all the tools and stuff for doing this kind of stuff because I used to see them sitting on the yard. Anyway, I said, call roads and bridges. So she calls roads and bridges up, and lo and behold, like 2 days later, they're out there with one of those grade-all tool thingies, you know, that's like this, like a rolling grader, and they've got like 4 guys and a backhoe and this grade-all thing, and they're scooping out my ditches, cleaning everything up. They actually rotted out the culvert that went underneath my driveway and cleaned everything out. And I'm like, next time it rains, I know what's going to happen. Water's going to go right through it where it's supposed to go in the drainage of my driveways, right, John? So in this process, I was talking to one of my neighbors, and he said to me, he goes, how'd you get the county to come out here? And I said, well, I think what we did is we called them. And he's like, I didn't know you could do that. And voila, the subject for the show was born. Right, John? I asked a few other people. And really, folks, if you don't know this, most municipalities have some kind of, it's a roads and bridges department, or they have some entity that's in charge of doing things in the right-of-way of your properties.
That's it, because it's under their jurisdiction.
It's really, under their jurisdiction, you know. So you don't need to get out there with the shovel and dig out your culverts. You can call the county, or the municipality, I should say, because it depends. If you live in a city, you'd probably call the city. But in this case, call the municipality, right, John? I mean, makes sense, right?
Well, you didn't, as cheap as you are, you didn't ask them if they do painting too, did you?
I did ask if I could borrow one of the graders. I needed to sort of do a little digging on the project. I said, hey, buddy, could I get that thing over here for a minute?
You guys do roofing too?
But anyway, I thought that was a pretty good tip. You know,
yeah, no, absolutely, and this is something a lot of people might overlook,
right?
And they might miss is that there are certain pieces on your property that really reside with these type of departments and municipalities, and you should check on that because that was the right thing to do. Otherwise, you'd have been out there with you know.
Yeah, doing a lot of work I didn't want to do.
Guys and a small boy trying to replace a culvert.
Right, exactly. And it, folks, you pay for it in your taxes also. Now, I want to make one caveat. I kind of thought that the county did this stuff like on a regular basis. Yeah, the short answer is no. They do, but their scheduling is so, this cycle is like I can't remember. I think it's 5 years or 6 years. And then if they get behind, of course, the schedule goes to heck in a handbasket because of people like me calling. So if you're having a problem, call them. That's my takeaway on that one. So anyway.
Yep, that's a good tip.
That's a good tip.
We want to save you time, money, and innovation, and boy, that fits all three.
It does. And, and you get
sitting there eating hot dogs and drinking beer while you're watching these.
It's kind of fun, actually. All right. With that, don't forget to join our Facebook group. That's at Handyman Pros. If you have a question or any kind of concern, you can send it to us there. You could send us an email direct, questions@handymanprosradioshow.com. Also, we'll get you in touch with us. And if you would, please tell your friends and neighbors about our show. Go visit our new website, too. We're working on it. It's getting better and better, but that's at handymanprosradioshow.com. All that good stuff is out there. We want to thank you for listening. We will see you next week on the Handyman Pros Radio Show.